Let's talk business. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having an amazing start to autumn so far. If you've been around for a while, you might have realized that I have been a lot more active on my social media these days. I have to thank today's sponsor for that, and that is Fiverr. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Sumina and I'm a violinist and content creator. I have studied classical music professionally in Europe as well as the United States, and I'm based in New York right now. So today's topic is going to be a little more businessy than my usual content, and that is about how to be successful at digital marketing on a schedule of a classical musician. This is so important because once we decide to turn our passion into our profession, we want to be able to live off of it, right? I am a violinist and content creator, as I mentioned, but I am also an online violin teacher, and I am therefore heavily reliant on social media. Now, I am planning to create more content like this about being a 21st century classical musician. So if you do like this kind of content, please consider giving this video a thumbs up, because that lets me know that I should be creating more of this kind of content. And also consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell right next to it, because that way you won't miss the next video. Yeah. Now, before we dive into this, we need to clear up a few things about the stigma about digital marketing or self-marketing in the classical music scene. We need to realize that digital marketing is not a dirty word, no matter how traditional the core values of classical music are. I do believe that this starving artist mentality is a very real thing, not because we want it to be, but because classical music as an art form is considered to be such a pure art, which I agree with, that you shouldn't be interested in anything else. That I do not agree with. People can judge relentlessly. In my opinion, we can't just practice alone in our practice room waiting for success to knock on the door. And compared to other creative industries such as pop music or low and high fashion or visual arts, classical music as an industry has sort of stayed behind in terms of the growth when it comes to popularity as well as market value. And that is so sad, because I do think that once we make classical music available to more people and make it more accessible, then people would naturally want a lot more of it. We need to realize that modernizing an industry and educating aspiring musicians to implement marketing strategies does not take away from the core values of classical music. I'm very passionate about this, so being curious and being proactive about branding and marketing is essential as a 21st century classical musician. Now, here's the other angle. I know that a lot of my classical music friends are simply intimidated or don't want to spend time on anything else than classical music. And that is a very valid point as well. They feel like they already experience enough pressure in wanting to become better musicians that social media or digital marketing is just extremely overwhelming. And I definitely feel that. The thing that classical musicians struggle with the most is to prioritize marketing. So, in today's video, we're going to be finding out how we can work with a professional social media strategist so that we can still do our digital marketing as classical musicians without getting overwhelmed. Now, usually people reach out to social media managers. I personally don't think that is a suitable option for any musician, because we need to still be the ones creating the content, but social media managers would be a really great choice for people who are selling products or which are a company. And that's why I was not looking for a social media manager, but a social media strategist. So someone to optimize my social media strategy. I narrowed it down to these things. I wanted to find out a clear purpose on how I can provide value on my social media. I did that by niching down on more educational content. The second thing is that I wanted to engage in more dialogue with you guys. That is really important to me, and I wanted to keep prioritizing that. Now, that has a lot to do with consistency, and therefore I was looking for someone who could tell me a good content creation schedule and help me with time management. I definitely also wanted someone to give me an analysis of my social media so that I could learn more about my own social media habits and how I can improve. So in order to improve and optimize my social media, I need to know what an expert thinks. And lastly, but certainly not least, this one has a lot to do with my content creating schedule as well, but an action plan. A lot of social media managers actually do not include that. They only give you a rundown of their analysis, what they think of your channel and what they see and the numbers, etc. But I really wanted a professional's guidance, how I could develop my career in the longer term. Now, this list can look completely different for everybody. It should look different for everybody. So I encourage you to sit down for yourself and write down all the things that really matter to you when it comes to your profession. Think of it like a social media coach, you know? Yeah. Now, next up, all the skills that this person should ideally have. Someone who fully understands search engine optimization should be part of their job, needs to understand the values and the ins and outs of the classical music world, should still be able to provide me with a non-musician point of view, should have great English grammar, and ideally the time and willingness to hop on phone calls to work on strategy. That was important to me as well. Now, next up, let's actually find a freelancer to start off with. Before I take you over to my desktop screen, let me introduce you to today's sponsor. So as I mentioned before, today's video is sponsored by Fiverr. Fiverr is my platform of choice where you can connect with hundreds of thousands of freelancers ready to help you with digital services like social media. As you can see, there are a variety of digital services offered here, such as professional website building, graphic design, creating a killer logo, animations, everything under the sun that you can think of, you can find here on a budget. I really resonate with Fiverr's mission because they redefine how the world works together by connecting freelancers with people like us in need of their expertise. And on top of it all, they make it so easy by catering towards you with your budget with a fast 24-hour digital delivery and a money-back guarantee. I've been scrolling through many freelancers and chatted with a bunch of them, and I found a social media manager that checks all of the boxes. He actually used to work at Google as a software engineer, but wanted to do more creative work, so he gradually started doing more freelance work through Fiverr as well. And by the way, he did not know that he was going to be incorporated in this video until he actually turned in my action plan that he made for me. I only asked to get his permission, so his work is legit. Yeah, highly recommend. So the selling point to me was also that before he was even paid, he did his research, which showed me that he likes to be prepared, and that's something I'm looking for. And he gave me tips on optimizing my social media before we even officially started working together. I found that extremely generous, and to me that spoke for his character, which is the most important thing to me in any successful collaboration. So before I take you through the actionable information that my social media strategist delivered to me, I actually do have a discount code for you. So if you head over to the Fiverr website and check out the services available to you, you can use my code SUMINA to get 10% off. So be sure to use this code when you're at checkout. Now let's get into the information that my social media strategist delivered to me. All right, now one of the first things that he made me do is to fill out a form. After that, he actually delivered a 17-page analysis, in-depth engagement plan, brand marketing pillars, marketing strategies tailored to me. Now, I'm not actually supposed to endorse this particular part, but Fiverr actually has blog posts that explain how to do most of these things by yourself. But my strategist did it all from his experience point of view, so I couldn't have done this well myself. He then also created a content creation schedule for me, which gives me an overview of deadlines and my own workflow. We're still adapting that because every week my schedule is so different. So that is also something that we talk about in our phone calls every week. Now, I've also made an Airtable. He has overview of my hundreds of content concept ideas that I've just been procrastinating to do. So I've realized that giving him overview over my ideas, which my Airtable is basically my brain at this point, he's able to tell me which concept ideas I should do first or which ones I should do in a specific time of year, etc. He's also given me more tangible tips in terms of quality of content or formats of content, talking about the algorithm, because he used to work at Google, so he really knows a thing or two about the algorithm. So as you can tell, I still create all of my content, but he's the one organizing it basically and holding me accountable to actually get it out to you guys. The conclusion of marketing as a classical musician: see what similarities it has to your instrument. If you can't play the piano, you're not going to try to record a CD without partnering up with a pianist. And the same goes for social media. It is a tool that we need as 21st century classical musicians. And it is the one thing that the classical music education system fails to teach us. So again, if you like this kind of content about branding and marketing as a 21st century classical musician, be sure to give this video a thumbs up so that I know that you guys like this kind of content, and consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell so that you won't miss future videos like this. Also, if you have any topic ideas that you would like me to cover in a future 21st century musician video, be sure to leave it in the comments down below so I can create videos catering towards your questions. As always, thank you so much for watching today's video. Head over to Fiverr to check out the services available to you. Use my code SUMINA to get 10% off, and yeah, use it at checkout. I hope you have a great day ahead of you, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye. Quiet on set, please.